Hello, the internets, welcome back. We finally have Miss Marcy with us, Marciana Marine Studio, and my god, she looks fine, guys. I could not resist. I went for the MLB. What can I say? I know I said I was probably gonna chill a little bit, but okay, guys, I couldn't resist. All right, they were too good. They were too good. So this is the MLB in case you guys are interested. Fantastic ass, not gonna lie. It's a 10 out of 10 ass. Worthy of MLB just for the assets, obviously, but let's talk a little bit about her performance on the day one as a meta character, in my opinion, where she will be on the tier list and everything else when it comes to day one testing. As usual, this is a day one testing. This is not the final review. This is not the final verdict. This is just the couple hours into the patch, into the update, first impressions, right? That said, for some reference, I got her to MLB, Bond level 30, max out doll, level gear 5, 4 elemental, 2 attack lines. So only one attack in there with black, but didn't get much. If I go right here, she is 74% elemental, 23% attack, and she is level 5 gear. This was before I took the upgrade, and 1077 on the skills. Now 1077, I'm gonna be honest, as much as I like her as a character, I don't even know if I could recommend going past 777. It feels like the best upgrade is skill 1, because it actually feels impactful. If you think of Miss Marcy and you check her damage from a skill 7 to a skill 10, if we go right here, skill 1, so level 7, it's a 3.2k of final attack as additional damage. Level 10 is a 3.7, which is pretty big. It's pretty big, right? So in my opinion, that's like the best upgrade you can get for her, but it's not mandatory, right? So a 1077 feels really good. Also, really important, but they have updated they have updated for some reason the wording of the characters. We no longer have in-game caster's attack, caster's max HP, caster's defense is attack 20% of the skilled user's attack. It's the same thing, it's the same explanation, just change the wording for some reason. I don't like it. I think it's more confusing than just saying caster's attack or caster's defense or whatever it is, right? But it is what it is. It is what it is. That said, back to our Marcy. Her kit is super straightforward, alright, we already explained it, there is no reason to, but just a quick refresh. Her skill 1, it's like her run. She will be doing damage. If she kills the target that is marked with target the designation, she will spread this to a random enemy, and if it keeps dying, it will keep spreading somewhere else. The thing is that this applies first to the enemy with the highest final max HP. So if there is a boss, it will always apply to the boss, making it a little bit more harder to actually proc this on the ads if the boss spawns ads. So this is good for tower, for example. If you want to run her on Elysian Tower, this is actually a good character for that. A really good character on Elysian Tower. But for bosses, it's harder to proc. But for campaign and Iron Week content, it's great. Really good. As for skill 1. Skill 2, really simple. She gets whistle stacks. From the moment the battle starts, she gets 5 stacks. Because you get a basic one here, and then you get 4 more. So you get max stacks from the get-go. If there are multiple enemies, she consumes stacks to deal damage. If there are, not multiple enemies, she just keeps this for herself. So this is only when she gets these these stacks. So at the beginning of the battle, basically she's gonna be like, all right, I get max stacks. If there are a lot of enemies, I will start using them, and if there are more than 6, I will just consume them to deal damage itself, right? And then when you neutralize raptors with this as well, you also get the elemental advantage that damage increase, which is pretty nice. So her burst is also not a huge damage output because that is on skill 1, but it does increase her elemental damage, her attack damage, and puts a defense down. Now, because some people want to compare her with Eve, she is not a debuffer. Marciana is a DPS. Yes, defense down, she also has the attack down somewhere else on the skill 1 here. It's not bad, but it's never comparable. It's not even close to, for example, Summerhelm or Eve damage taken. Damage taken is probably the strongest debuff in the game, and is why so many of the new characters are still meta relevant even if they are old or their kits are not as good, be it your Diesel, be it now Eve, be it Summerhelm, etc. Right? So she is a DPS with some utility, but the utility doesn't change much. That's basically for her kit, right? A pretty good kit, level 7 on the burst, level 7 on skill 2 is more than enough because the increase to level 10 is not that high. The skill 2 increase could be good because from 28% attack, you go to 32. You might be thinking, okay, it's a 4%. It's a 4%, but you get 5 stacks. So it's a lot better, right? So skill 2 you could consider taking higher. I don't think it's worth it. I think a 1077 is more than enough. And then assault rifle, boys. So there is only 2 options. Okay, you put the bastion, you put resilience, or you put distraction if you can take advantage of it for parts. Nothing else. The usual cubes. That said, let's jump directly into the actual damage numbers so we can showcase a little bit what's going on and why I believe she will be a tier 2 character, and then we'll go into a tier list. So let's start with Museum Ultra. Okay, this is Museum. Everyone's favorite game mode. Not no limit, just the normal raid. We went into Ultra, which is the same boss as Anomaly, and we were doing here as a 777 character. She was doing already pretty good, 1.9 versus 3.6. Reminder that Cindy is not only the best iron DPS, but one of the best DPSs in the game right now altogether, and that my Cindy has really good lines as well. These are the lines of the characters that I've been checking myself and testing. If you guys want to pause right there to check for a moment, right? That's where my iron characters are. Red Hood, not so good, but at least a core 6, so balances out a little bit. Now, then we went to 1077 with Overload level 5. This was Overload level 0. And Overload level 5, 1077 doesn't really change that much. Her damage output still went from a 1.9 to a 2.1. That's what I said, that it doesn't feel like it's really worth taking her past 1077. That's already more than enough. Red Hood doing 3.2 and she's doing 2.1. Again, for an iron boss, that's already really, really good. Fantastic damage. Then compare with Red Hood. Reminder that Red Hood on Ultra, it's basically the best boss for Red Hood. It's a match made in heaven, right? So a bad comparison, but still, so you guys can see 2.9, 2.1. And then with Raven, which is what I was more curious about, 2.1 on Iron versus 1.9 on Ultra. Obviously, this will heavily depend on the boss we're facing. This will heavily depend on your rolls and a bunch of different things. And Raven, once again, 87% elemental, only 11% attack. So still a nice reference because Raven is a tier 1 character that we all consider fantastic, right? And a meta unit. So she can compete on Iron Week. On Iron Week, she is fantastic. Now, let's move into Union Range, the best testing method ever made in Nikke. Same thing, 777. She was doing 8.1 versus 6.3. Fantastic damage from our Marciana. We went into 1077 afterwards. Rappi 11, she's doing 7.2. Then we went into the Overload level 5. And then the comparisons get a little bit better. So 11 as well, but she goes to 7. So not a big increase or an increase at all from Overload level 0 to Overload level 5. Compared with Cinderella, obviously, still 16. And because people were asking about if, as you guys can see, Cindy will do a lot more damage if you have if damage taken debuff, it's broken. It's the strongest debuff in the game. So don't think of Marciana as a debuffer. She's a DPS with some utility. Alright? That's it. Nothing else. We're also checking on the Miranda team because this damage can crit. So on skill 1, this can crit. So it could be a possibility. I'm not a fan of crit teams. A lot of you do run them for raids, so it's a possibility and something to take into consideration as well if you guys are testing. And then we check on neutral on Union Range, and that is where she loses a lot of her damage. Now, on neutral, with ads, she still performs well if you can kill ads and transfer the damage and the designated target and keep killing enemies. That's why for tower, she might be an actual really good character, but not so much for neutral bosses. For neutral bosses, she loses a lot of her usage, and it's the reason why I do believe she is a nice T2 character at the moment. And it's where I will probably place her for now, while we keep testing and seeing what's going on with her. Feels like a fair placement, a really strong character for Iron content, but not so much if we're talking outside of Iron, right? She is not Cindy. She is not like the characters in T1 where you can run them on neutral content and have no problem with Raven, with Scarlet, with Mihara, with characters like that. So I do like her quite a bit. I think she can be T1 on a lot of situations, but it would be more bias putting her on T1 than actually true at the moment, at least for now. And then Tarsis was doing some tests on his own right here. These are Tarsis units, if you guys want to pause right there for a second as well to see what he has. And he was doing a 777, as you guys can see, 6.5 versus 14. Cindy as well, destroying everything. Then running Rappi as a B1 right here, oh well, in both situations, right? But at 10.99, she went to 7.4. It's a really good increase. So, like I said earlier, if you're an Iron main, it could be worth taking her higher. I just don't think I will recommend going past 10.77. At least for now. At least for now. Then on neutral is where she loses a lot of her damage, with Neon going to 6.3 and Miss Marcy going down to 2.9. And then with Mast of Burst, we actually got a really good result on Eve, doing the same damage, but remember that Eve is also debuffing here, so it's gonna be not as great, right? And then compared to Eve as a debuffer, Cindy is doing 15, while earlier Cindy was doing just 14 and 13 in here. So that's also, once again, as a debuffer, there is no comparison. Eve is the better character, but as a DPS, this is one of the strongest Iron DPSs we currently have. Now, who I have not tested again because I don't want a manual, Milk. If someone does test with Milk, do let me know how she's feeling with her. I just don't want to, guys. And I'm sorry, I don't like manualing Milk. It's fucking annoying. That said, that's basically everything for this video, honestly, and for the first impressions themselves. A fantastic unit in terms of looks, for sure. I will say, just based on looks, it's a must pull. If you care about meta, a copy is good. Every seasonal character, every pilgrim has been used on most raids. Obviously, we're not talking about year 1 characters. We're not talking about Christmas Rupee or Miracle Fairy Ann, but it's a great unit. If you like Iron content, 100% grab a copy. For fan service, absolutely get a copy. If for some reason you are super low on resources and you can only get one of the current characters, then Cindy will take priority. But Cindy is something you should ticket after you pull on the other banners. That's it. That's everything for this one. As usual, we are live almost every single day. The website should be updated after I finish this video or in a couple hours. You guys have a great evening. Good luck with your pool, dinner rates, and I'll see you in the next one.